Listen, your love life is about to change. I know, that probably sounds like a massive promise right now, especially if you're just sitting there feeling completely, utterly, emotionally exhausted. But I really need you to hear this. It's not going to change because someone new is magically going to come along and sweep you off your feet. It's not because your ex is certainly coming back to apologize, and it's definitely not because fate just decided to cut you a break. Your love life is about to change because you are about to change. The literal second you stop accepting the things that hurt you, the entire game shifts. And today, we're going to unpack exactly how that transformation actually happens.
So I want to talk to you right now just like a close friend would. Are you tired? Like really, truly tired? Are you completely drained from pouring your heart out to people who hand you back pain instead of peace? It is so incredibly heavy to wake up every single day feeling emotionally depleted, you know? Just trying to pour from an empty cup into a connection that leaves you feeling totally hollow. If you're exhausted from loving people who just don't know how to protect your heart, I want you to know you are absolutely in the right place. And honestly, I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Before we dive into exactly how to fix this, I want to give a huge, warm welcome back to all the returning subscribers. Seriously, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. And hey, if you're a new viewer, please kindly subscribe, hit the bell button to enable you to be the first to receive notifications when next I upload a new video. I promise you, today's video is going to give you the exact real-world tools you need to break free from these toxic patterns and finally start stepping into the love you actually deserve.
Okay, let's dive into this. When you're a young adult and you're navigating your very first serious relationships, oh man, things can get complicated incredibly fast. You see, toxic dynamics, they rarely ever start out toxic. I mean, if they did, we'd all just run the other way immediately, right? They usually start with this rush of excitement, intense attention, undeniable chemistry, and these huge promises. Actually, those extreme highs and lows completely trick our brains. They release this flood of dopamine that mimics the feeling of profound love. But then, over time, there's this slow, quiet descent into emotional chaos. Suddenly, you're constantly anxious. You're overthinking literally every single text message, agonizing over what they meant. You're walking on eggshells just trying to avoid a fight, and you catch yourself making endless excuses for behavior that actively hurts you. It is a terrifying feeling when your entire identity gets tangled up in a connection that is slowly just dismantling your confidence.
And this, right here, brilliantly illustrates the trap so many of us fall into. When you're young and you're feeling these massive, intense feelings for the very first time, it is way too easy to get your emotional wires crossed. We get so used to the chaos that we literally start to mistake that gut-wrenching, where do I stand anxiety for fiery passion. We confuse control and manipulation with deep affection. We mistake a toxic attachment for genuinely safe connection. We slowly lose our own selves just trying to keep someone else around. But honestly, recognizing these illusions for what they are, that is the very first step to breaking free.
So how do we actually start to change this? Well, I want you to pause right now and really honestly ask yourself, do I feel respected? Do I feel valued? Do I feel completely 100% safe being my true, goofy, authentic self around this person? Or are you constantly sacrificing your own inner peace just to keep this relationship on life support? Be brutally honest with yourself here. It's so incredibly common in our early 20s to think that true love means sacrificing everything, including your own comfort. But listen to me, true love should be a safe harbor. It should not be a storm you have to constantly brace yourself against.
To actually get there, we need to completely reframe a buzzword we hear all the time: boundaries. When you're young and swept up in love, setting boundaries can kind of feel like you're being cold or pushing someone away. But boundaries are not these massive defensive brick walls. They are simply your standards. They're the blueprint of your self-worth. They gently but very firmly tell people exactly how you expect to be treated. And the most beautiful thing about them? They act as an instant filter. They immediately reveal who truly respects you and who is just keeping you around for their own convenience.
So let's look at the actual roadmap for getting out of this chaos. Breaking the cycle requires 4 really deliberate steps. First, you have to recognize what is actually hurting you, instead of just making excuses for it. Second, you implement those firm boundaries we just talked about.
Third, and guys, this one is absolutely critical when you're young, you must build a support system. Toxic relationships completely thrive in isolation. They literally rely on you keeping secrets. So talk to your trusted friends, open up to your family, or go seek out a professional. The more support you have in your corner, the harder it is for anyone to control your reality. And fourth, you've got to look in the mirror and be completely, unapologetically honest about why you are choosing to stay.
I want to speak directly to your heart for a second here, because this step, it's usually the hardest one. Why are you really staying? Is it the absolute fear of losing them? Is it the sheer terror of being lonely, especially when it feels like literally everyone else on your feed is in a happy relationship? Or is it that lingering, heartbreaking false hope that maybe, just maybe, tomorrow they'll finally wake up and change? I know exactly how painful it is to hold on to someone's potential rather than looking at the reality of who they are. But understanding your real motives for staying and validating those very real fears is the exact key you need to unlock the door and find the strength to finally leave.
Now, here is the absolute crucial point you have to remember. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. Just let that sink in for a second. So many of us stay in these deeply painful connections because we're terrified of losing the other person, but we don't even realize that we are entirely abandoning ourselves in the process. You simply cannot build a healthy, lasting love life while you're actively abandoning your own heart. Prioritizing your own dignity, your own peace, and your own happiness, that is the most fundamental requirement for a healthy life, period.
And when you finally internalize that, it builds into real, tangible action in your life. The exact moment you decide that your peace actually matters, everything shifts. You stop chasing people who don't want to be caught. You stop begging for bare minimum attention that should just be freely given. And you absolutely stop settling for emotional exhaustion. As you navigate these early serious relationships, learning to say no to what drains you is your ultimate superpower. That is the moment you take your power back and reclaim your autonomy.
Which brings us to the core truth of this entire video. Your future love life is not determined by luck. It's not determined by who happens to magically choose you. It is determined entirely by what you choose to tolerate. The very day you raise your standards and flat out refuse to tolerate being mistreated is the day your love life transforms. When you protect your peace and you actively choose self-respect, you will naturally start attracting relationships that reflect the high value you finally see in yourself. Freedom and healing are so possible for you, and it all starts right here, right now, with how you treat yourself today. I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. What was the exact moment you realized you deserved better? I would absolutely love to hear your stories. Please make sure you like this video and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another viewer desperately needs to read today. And remember to subscribe, because in our next video, I'm going to reveal the specific boundaries every single healthy relationship actually needs to survive. You definitely won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.